Hello, everybody. We're going to wait a second here for Amber to join, but I'm so excited to bring you her story today. I feel like that it is a very good time, not only to graduate her from the Foxy Ladies Lifestyle Alumni and the Academy, but also for her to share a piece of her journey with you guys because, hey, Amber, because right now everybody's struggling in this time. And I think that her story would be very valuable to hear because she's done everything at home. So as she comes on here, we'll say hello. Can you hear me?
Hey!
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I just can't see you.
Oh, wait. Let me see what I can do about that.
We got you live. Now we can
I
do
did
this thing.
it!
You
Yes.
look beautiful. I love it. You're pink.
Thanks. Yes.
Okay, so everybody, this is Amber Braithwaite. So happy to have you on today to talk about your journey over the last 6 months. So overall, you've lost 5 pounds and you've actually gained pounds of new muscle. I did the calculations today and I'm like, wow,
Oh,
this is
cool.
amazing. Which a lot of people don't understand that whole recompositioning thing, but you've totally remorphed your body. And a lot of mindset stuff to go with it. So I'm so excited to be talking about that today because I think that's important to hear. So that being said, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and just like say like what you do and yeah, who
Okay.
you are.
Okay. So, I'm I'm a recently retired military wife. I almost said I'm a military wife because you get so used, like whatever your husband does or your partner or whatever, you kind of get used to introducing yourself that way. But,
Yeah.
so my husband just retired, like 2 weeks ago, and actually he just left today to go to truck driver school. So,
Wow.
and I looked it up, and today is the same day that he left to be deployed a
Oh
few years
wow.
ago with Mitch. I
Yeah.
know it popped up on my Facebook Messenger, so that was crazy. Anyway, so
That's
I'm a
crazy.
recently retired military wife, about to
Yes.
be a truck driver wife.
Mm-hmm.
And we have lots of animals. We have 12 animals. I counted the other day. And we we foster for military families for their animals. I always say that because I like doing that.
Yeah.
And it's important to me. So we have a lot of extra animals that aren't ours, but we treat them as ours. So yeah, actually one is sitting with me right now. She's on the Zoom call. So
I love it. We might see some
yeah.
friendly visitors.
Yes.
That's so sweet. That's so awesome. And you have a job, right? You work from home.
Yeah, so that's been interesting. So I have a job. I work from home. I'm self-employed as I basically provide services for families involved with the child welfare system. I was a frontline like child welfare professional for many years in 3 different states, and now I provide in-home services. That contract is ending this summer, but I'm still doing that right now. And actually I took on substitute teaching, and it was literally only for 2 weeks, and then the coronavirus hit. So
Oh,
that was hilarious. I was like, well, okay, well, that was fun.
yeah, that was fun. Well, that's
Yes.
pretty cool. I bet that was a fun new experience too.
It was. Yeah.
Lots of
Yeah.
new stuff happening. Um,
Yes.
so thanks for sharing a bit about you. And yeah, I think that it's really cool to also share this because I know, like, we're friends. We've been friends for a while. Our
Mhm.
husbands have worked together in the Army. And I think the most important thing about our coaching relationship is that it's obviously it serves us to know each other, but at the same
Mhm.
time, having that accountability factor and being able to be like, hey, we got to work on some things, or lovingly challenge you because
Mhm.
there are women out there who have friends or have family that they look to for support for fitness and health goals, but at the same time they feel like it hinders them because it's like they're too comfortable, right? So with us, I love it because we're able to have that comfortability, that relatability with one another because we've been through very similar things. But at the
Mhm.
same time, I'm able to be like, hey, Amber, let's work on this or let's work on that. That way you can actually progress versus staying where you were. So
Mhm.
now, that being said, do you feel like that was the case? Like it
Oh, yeah.
was easy to
Yeah.
like progress?
So, yeah, so and that is a thin line because you can be too comfortable,
Mhm.
and then that other, well, it would be you, then like your coach person who's supposed to challenge you, um they are like, well, I don't want to say, like, I don't want them to get upset, or I don't want to like offend, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I haven't been a coach, but I'm sure that that is a fine line. And so yeah, I was certainly comfortable enough with you because we've been friends, so it wasn't like there was anything that I didn't feel comfortable talking about. But not to the point where, yeah, I also was like, oh well, I have check-in tomorrow, so
Yes.
I better put my stuff in that I haven't, I've been logging but I haven't put it in so Tori can see it. Or oh, Tori and I talked about such and such last week, and I really haven't been doing that, so I better make sure I do that.
Right,
um,
exactly.
so yes, that was great. And really that's for you. That's kudos to you because you were able to walk that line, to
Yeah.
manage that. I'm sure that was
Yeah.
hard at times.
Yeah, it is definitely a balance, but I feel it's in service to you, in service to other people that I've worked with too. I've worked with family in the past too, and it's always like, well, in order for you to show up in the ways that you need to change,
Mhm.
I have to have that coachability with you. I have to have that communication with you where it's like, well, there's not going to be any reprimand, but there's certainly
Yeah.
going to be accountability for sure. Just because you're
Yeah.
my family or my friend or whatever, I'm still going to empower you to show up for yourself in the ways that are
Yeah.
actually going to take you to where you want to go. So I love that you were very awesome with that. And you'd always reach out to me and be like, hey, what do I do in this situation? Because that communication is key. And I
Mhm.
think because of that, obviously, you persevered through all of the different things that we've gone through, including holidays.
Mhm.
And now we have this new challenge in the world. So you're doing awesome. So I'm so
Mhm.
proud of you. Um,
Thanks.
yes. What was your life like before you started working with me? Your
Mhm.
physical, your emotional state. Let's like backtrack and start with where you started and then where we
Mhm.
took you.
So before I started, right before I would say I started with you, I was sleepy a lot.
Hmm.
Definitely not motivated, even though I like to be outdoors, I like to be active, I love doing stuff with the animals, but lots of times I would find that I really had to like get myself going to do much.
Right.
Um so like, and wanted to sleep a lot. Um and then my self-esteem, like, for sure. And I think a lot of these ways when you make big changes, it's not until I'm not at the end, but I have stuff I have want, left to do.
Yes.
Um, but when you have come a ways and you can look back on a lot, that's when you really realize like how, for me, my self-esteem now I realize was like super low, and my self-confidence just with my own personal body, and then in my relationship with my husband.
Yeah.
And like, I like I mean, not to be too TMI, but like I'll wear whatever's in my closet right now that I want to
Good.
wear. And
Yeah.
I definitely was at a point before where there was a lot of stuff that I was like, well, Chad's home, so I'm not wearing that because,
Right.
and Chad is not the type of person, he never said anything to me.
No.
Whoa, you're looking this way, or no, but I definitely didn't feel confident in things. And now, like, no, wear whatever the heck I want to wear. Um,
Awesome.
yeah. And so that has been a big thing. And I knew that I had definitely lost some self-esteem, but it wasn't until you really start feeling good about yourself again that you're not second guessing yourself
Yeah.
or thinking about, well, that's going to make me look this way, or that's going to show this, or that you realize how much you did that. And
Right.
it's very freeing to like go into your closet and just wear what you want to wear, or go
Absolutely.
shopping
Yeah.
and
And
be
go
go,
shopping and
I
enjoy
like that.
yourself. Yeah.
I'm buying that and not be worried about. So yeah, that's been a big thing. And I didn't realize that until I kind of come such a long way with that. And now I realize how much effort and time and energy was going into that. So I think that was a big thing. And then definitely my energy level. Like I am up all the time. I'm doing stuff, and that's how I want to be. I'm
Mhm.
happy being outside, and I like to be outside and moving and doing stuff and doing things with the animals. And like there's just so many times where I'm like, it is so good to be moving like all the time, and I like that. So
Yeah,
yeah.
like just to be up and having
Mhm,
that energy has been a huge benefit. Like you have so many animals to take care of too.
mhm,
But I love that you hit on the fact that it's so exhausting to have these thoughts and these feelings about
mhm,
yourself in a negative way. It's mentally exhausting and it's physically exhausting. And it really disrupts your patterns and your routines of life to have to always be thinking about, oh, this doesn't make me feel good, or like I don't feel comfortable in the situation or in these clothings around certain different people. And I bet that used to limit your ability to show up powerfully in your job too, where
mhm.
you are talking with people. So would you say that your confidence in that aspect with other people outside of your home too has absolutely like gone up?
Oh yeah, because same thing, like again, it takes me way less time to get ready because I don't have to look at anything in my closet and be like, oh, that is gonna like be tight. Like I
Right.
can wear it, but that's not gonna be very comfortable. I wear whatever I want. And you do. Like I feel so I'm up in front of I conduct meetings. Now right now they're via video and phone conference.
Yes, of
So
course.
sometimes I've done them in my PJs because nobody sees me right now.
Yes.
But usually, I mean, I'm the person in front of them and I'm conducting the whole meeting.
Mhm.
And I noticed like a huge, and if you had asked me before, I would have been like, I mean, I'm already doing it. Of course, I'm confident enough to get up in front of people or I wouldn't be doing it.
Right.
But I noticed just even like those thoughts go through your head. And I just felt way more like, I look good. I feel good. Like,
Yeah, and there's a
look
certain
at me.
like advancement to it that you probably didn't even feel like was there, because yeah, there's a lot of people who already have the skill sets to talk in front of people and conduct meetings like
Hmm.
you and things like that. But there's always another level that we could get to within ourselves. It just happens to be somewhere inside of us that we haven't really tapped into yet.
Hmm.
So I feel like that's absolutely true, and I love that that's impacted you in that way, and not only in your personal life but your work life too.
Hmm.
So what would you say are some things that you are able to do now that you couldn't before? um
Oh, yeah. So just more specifically, like I am up moving and getting stuff done outside with the animals or like landscaping, just like farm chores. Like I get stuff done.
yeah, you
Stay
get
out of
stuff.
stay out of my way. I will move the round bale myself. Like get
I was so proud when you said that. I was like, damn, those are
I
heavy.
well, and yeah, like please people do not be thinking that I'm out like rolling 500-pound round bales like all over the pasture, but like I have to roll them a few feet to move them so I can stick them with the tractor,
Hmm.
and I be moving them. I don't need nobody else. Thank you.
Yes.
I'll move that round bale. So yeah, doing stuff like that. So that is just like I get way more done. I'm way more productive
Yeah.
and I'm not tired. Like
Mhm.
I can do a whole bunch of stuff and get that stuff done. And then doing way more activities. So like I walk the dogs pretty much every day. That's over a mile. And then whatever I'm doing exercise wise that day, if I have like a workout that day and it's not a rest day or something,
Mhm.
then all of what I have, just regular barn chores, and then like whatever extra, like, okay, I'm gonna put the sprinkler system out today, or I'm gonna move a 500-pound round bale so I can put it out or whatever.
Right.
Um, and then usually on top of that, I'm also either riding or I'm doing like stuff with my carriage driving.
Yes.
And then I may also, on top of that, be going to help my neighbor next door who's teaching me, you know, maybe if with her young horse, I might be doing that. And that
So fun.
just like, even just saying that, if I had said that like 6 months ago, I would have been like, I don't think that's like, no,
Is that in my capacity to
that's too
handle?
much. That's
Yeah.
too much. Like what? And now I'm just like invigorated, and that's a normal day. Like that's a normal day. So
Yeah, that's
yeah.
a lot for a normal day. That's a
Hmm.
lot more than what normal people do, but that's absolutely something to be proud of, especially when running your own little happy fur family.
Oh
And
yes.
feathers, I guess, because you got chickens too. But
Oh
uh,
yes, the
yes,
chickens.
I think that's amazing because now you can be like, well, now I don't have to put off these tasks anymore. I can just do what I can to start knocking them off of my list, which in turn
Hmm.
makes you feel more accomplished, and you get more stuff done, and then you have more time to enjoy yourself and do the things that you really want to do in life and enjoy
Hmm.
this time of your life because this is like this is prime time.
Yes.
So I think that's amazing. And I remember when you're like, oh my gosh, Chad came home and he was so like shocked that I got this thing done. And he's,
Yes.
oh, I was gonna do that.
Yeah. I don't need you, because I mean, moving them a few feet, they're freaking heavy. And
Mhm.
I was like, I don't got time for this. Like,
Let's
what the
just
heck?
start it.
I'm
Yeah.
moving it. I'm doing it myself. Yeah, so I just do it
Yes.
myself.
That's amazing. And I think the best thing about that is that we were able to get you to a point where you don't have to worry about hurting your knee. So
Oh
let's
my
talk about that. Like
god.
let's
My hurt knee? Did I
yes.
ever have a hurt knee? I don't.
You're like, what is that anymore? I
Mm,
remember when
uh,
I took you on, you're like, so I have this thing with my knee and I have to wear a knee brace and
mhm,
I have to take some medication every once in a while for it because it gets inflamed, it starts hurting, blah, blah, blah. So tell
mhm,
us about what that was like for you beforehand,
mhm.
what it's like now.
So, my knee, the one in particular, but really the right one in particular, but both of them,
Mhm.
um, have bothered me since I was in high school, a freshman in high school, but it took them forever to diagnose it and actually give me something for it.
Mhm.
And, so that I'm 30, to give people a frame of reference, I will be 32 next
Yeah,
week. So, or
birthday time.
this coming week.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, um, it's been half of my life pretty
Mhm.
much that I've had that. And it's only gotten worse. And it was at its worst when I started with you 6 months ago, where like, then I had finally gone to like, okay, well, it's bad enough that I need to go to the doctor and they're going to have
Yeah.
to give me something because it's bothering me too much.
Mhm.
So it was at its worst, and I was wearing knee braces and feeling like I just felt like that made me feel so old. I'm sorry if anybody has to wear braces. Like, if you have a reason to wear a brace, like that doesn't mean you're old, but I just felt like I was the people that you see like struggling,
Mhm.
at Walmart in the parking lot, and you're like, oh,
Yeah,
so
and you're like, that's
anyway,
me now.
yes.
Mhm.
So, and so I thought, well, I'm sure getting healthier will help. I mean,
Yeah.
it's certainly not going to hurt it,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yes.
But I thought, and I remember telling you, I was like, I'll just be happy if I can cut down to taking that medication once a week
Mhm.
and only needing my knee brace, like, maybe twice a week or something, instead of like, I had to wear that thing every day. Like, if I was going to be really physical,
Mhm.
or if I was going to be really sedentary, like driving all day,
Yeah, where it's
I
like
had to,
super stable. Mhm.
yes, I had to wear that thing. And so that was how it was like, it's just not a good feeling. So, but that was kind of my goals. Like, those were my goals. I just want
Mhm.
to take that medication once a week and wear that knee brace like once or twice a week would be great.
Mhm.
And like, I don't even know where that knee brace is. I told you that. I don't
Yeah,
even
we can't
know.
find it. Don't
And
need it.
I don't want to see it.
Mhm.
Um and I'm way more active than I've been. Probably the last time I was this active probably would be like high school or college or something.
That's
But even then, I don't know. I might still be more active than I was then. So
mhm.
I'm super active, and I don't need no knee brace. And I haven't taken that medication. I don't know the last time I took the medication either. So, it's just been great. That's been super. I mean, that was an unintended, I didn't think I would have no knee brace and no medication at the
Yeah,
end of this.
yeah,
And that is amazing, because
yeah,
that
to
was
not need
like
that.
awful. It was just awful. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah.
It's hard mentally because you're like, "Oh man, I'm getting old." You know, everybody says I'm getting old and I'm getting
Mhm.
like crippled or you know,
Yeah.
it mentally makes you feel like, "Oh, this is the end" or something. But you came to me at a great time because I was like, "No, this is not the end. We're going to fix this. We're going to make sure that your joints are healthy because that's the point. That's the point of longevity and sustainability in your health and your vitality with your body is to have preventative measures and then corrective measures as well to get things back up to speed how they should be functioning.
Mhm.
So that was huge for you, not only metabolically, mindset wise, but also joint wise. Joint health was huge. And just making sure that you yourself, all of your nutritional needs were met. So that way we could eliminate those migraines that you were having too.
Mhm.
Because that was another thing. We are like, oh man, we got to figure out how to get rid of these migraines, you know,
Mhm.
and pay attention to different foods that were agreeing with you and what weren't agreeing with you. And having foods that you really enjoy too. So I'm so happy that we got that knee fix because yeah,
Oh
you're
my
able
gosh.
to do a
Yes.
lot more now and not have to worry about it. Um, and I know from a coach's standpoint that I can be confident that you're going to continue to take care of that. And you know your limits now with your strength
Mhm.
capabilities, and you also know corrective measures and different exercises that we've done to help strengthen that joint specifically. So good to
Mhm.
know.
Yes.
But yeah, like let's talk about food. How has your food been? What's been your favorite meal that you've had while working with me?
Oh, so I love my favorite thing. I love plain Greek. Well, it doesn't even have to be Greek, just plain yogurt.
Hmm.
Because actually, the Walmart brand is it's just the plain Great Value Walmart brand I found is it's got less calories and more protein than some of the name brands.
I've
Anyway,
noticed that.
I
Yeah.
just yes, I just kind of assumed, and I should have looked, but I sort of just assumed like, oh, the name brands are probably better. So I hadn't looked, and then one day they were out, and I was like, well, just have to get this. And then I was like, ah, look at that. So
Yeah, you start comparing.
I know. So anyway, I love just plain Great Value yogurt with dark chocolate chips
Yes.
and granola and berries. Like, I
It's so good.
fantasize about it all day, and I usually have that once a day. But
Hmm.
sometimes I'll do it more as like a dessert at night, and
Hmm.
sometimes I'll do it as a meal just because, or
Yeah,
sometimes
it's a
I
good
do it
snack.
as a snack. It's whatever. So yeah, but that's my favorite thing. I love that. So yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
As soon as you told me you were a chocolate person like me, I was like, oh shit, we're gonna implement some chocolate. We're gonna give you some chocolate. And then when you said, oh, I've got migraines, I'm like, perfect. Dark chocolate is fabulous for adding some magnesium into your life without having to worry about a bunch of pills, right?
Mhm.
Making sure that your fruits and your fibers are good, as well as those high sources of magnesium, because I find that with a lot of people with migraines, it's as simple as fixing your micronutrient intake, which I say simple, but honestly, it's kind of hard for people to wrap their mind around or to try to figure out on their own, because it takes a lot of like elimination with your food. A lot of different variables have to change with that. And so a lot of people will just go to over the counter stuff or go to the doctor and like, what can you do for my migraines? And it'll
Mhm.
only band-aid the symptom. You know, you have to fix both sides if it's that severe. So I'm glad that we were able to tackle that for you as well, but also give you something that you really like, which just happens to be chocolate. Who doesn't like
Yes. Yes.
and fruit? Yeah. And yogurt is a fantastic probiotic too. So digestive health is always top notch.
Yes.
So that's perfect. I'm so glad to hear that. Now, what are some things that you've learned in the academy or even the alumni program? So for people who don't know, I have a second level program above my academy, which is designed to help people move into their maintenance, which Amber's doing right now. She's now solo. She gets to fly solo. I've graduated her from that. That way she knows how to do her own macros. She knows how to do her own training all on her own. She knows how to manipulate those things. That way, when she's ready to tackle certain goals, or if she does hit a plateau, she knows exactly what to do by herself, which is so important for me as a coach. I don't want to just like drop my people off. I want them to have the skill sets to do that on their own. So that being said, what have you learned? Like, let's just do both. Like, what did you learn in the academy? And then what did you learn in the alumni that really helped set you up for success?
The biggest thing for me was being comfortable, learning how to create my own workouts. I'm sure you hear that, you hear that a lot.
Yeah.
So learning how to create my own workouts, which that was in the alumni part, because we did that, of course, right before
Yes.
I graduated. And the other part, and this kind of goes along with it, but it's like I think about it almost, well, every time that I'm doing weights, is really learning about first of all, the importance of weights. Like, no, before I was with you, I was like, oh, weights. I mean, okay.
Right.
If somebody's there telling me I have to do weights, I'll do weights. But I mean, I ain't trying to look like beefy. And so I had that like
that everybody has that initial thing about weights. Yes.
Well, and especially if you're a woman and you're not trying to be beefy. So
Yes.
if you are a woman who's not trying to be beefy, I know there's women who want that. But anyway, if you're not. So
right.
Yeah, so I had that whole mindset. So during the academy, that training that you did was really good for me, and I think about it a lot, and I go back to it all the time. And in fact, so Chad and I were so we walk almost every day together. So whenever I do the dogs walk, he goes with me, and then the days that I run, he goes with me. And so he was talking to me one day about working out and stuff, and like he's slowly asking me stuff because he can tell, like
you can tell.
So and he was like, and weights, like I don't know if I do weights right. So I start like spewing information. Well,
like actually
weights are really important. Like you should be doing those at least 2 to 3 times a week, blah 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 blah. So
yes,
that was a huge thing for me, learning all about that, the importance of them, how to use them, why, all of that. And then during the alumni, right before I graduated, learning how to do my own workouts, because that would be something that for me would always, in the past, I've done lots of different, I've done like group trainings, we talked about where I would go. I went to a gym several times a week, and I had like small group trainings. And then I've done stuff on my own, but I didn't ever really know like how to do my own workouts. Like I had to have somebody telling me, okay, this is what we're doing today.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I'm totally comfortable with that. Like I'm always, when I'm working out now, I'm not going to change anything for a little while. I want to leave it what we came up with. Yeah. But I'm still like, I'm taking notes, and I'm like, when I do change it, like the next time I make some changes, I think I'm going to do this, or I'm going to change that. And I'm comfortable with that. And I'm confident about it. So those were 2 big things for me. And this might sound like super obvious, but listening to how much nutrition really informs everything about our health, like mentally, emotionally. I mean, if you had told me before I started with you, like, well, you should probably, like, have you ever tried eating some dark chocolate and that might help with your migraines? I'd be like,
you'd be like, yeah, right. Like, let me try it, but
I take Excedrin migraine, and sometimes if I've let it go too bad, that isn't going to do anything. So like, I mean, I like chocolate, but no, I don't think so. Just listening to my body, and paying attention to stuff, and then making adjustments.
Yes.
To what I'm putting into my body, to try and help with that has been huge.
I'm so glad to hear that. Yeah. Knowing the most important thing that I can do for you ladies is give you the tools to know the science behind physiology in your
Mm-hmm.
body, how your body works. And then also give you feedback and critique on how your specific body is working with different things, and then helping you see those things week by week by week, month by month. And then at that point, developing your intuition, moving you into a place where you can know the right exact timing to adjust those things appropriately for you. So I think that was definitely key for you, because there was definitely a point towards like Thanksgiving, Christmas, where we're like, I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
things are getting a little stuck, and that's okay. Everybody's body is different, and for you, that means your body's very much adaptive, like highly adaptive. So there's a lot more structure we had to provide for you, where we went into a cycling protocol, and you followed that, and it was like boom, magic. So I think that was a great learning point for you too, to be like, oh wow, I really do need to keep making notes on how my body's doing, what I'm
Mm-hmm.
feeling, all of those things. All of these variables always go into our own health and fitness. So you're doing a good job with that. And yeah, I felt really good and confident giving you those tools, the alumni, at that point, because you're able to take that and do that on your own. So
Mm-hmm.
it's awesome. Now, was the community a huge support aid for you, as opposed to doing it on your own or anything like that?
Oh yeah. And so it is two things. I am not a technology person, as is obvious by the issues I had getting my video to work today. So that, there you go.
Yes.
So that, first of all, and I said that to you, I think when we were like, when we first talked and you interviewed me and, made sure that this program would fit, I was like, this whole technology thing, that has me freaked out. Like, I know you're going to do some stuff with my health and my nutrition, and that's fine, but I'm just worried about all this technology you think that I need to do. So yeah, so I'm not a technology buff. And so there was like that whole comfort thing.
Yeah.
And then, and also I'm a very closed off person, as in like, I don't like to talk about my feelings.
Right.
And we've talked about the whys of all that and everything. So that, but, I don't like to do that. I don't want to. I have to, it is a very like physical process for me. If you're asking me to like, oh, I want you to share, this, or I want you to talk about this, or I want you to post about that, if it's anything that's personal. So I struggled. I mean, there were times where I had to be like, dang, it's like one day left, and she said our homework was such and such. And like, it's not that I haven't had time. I just really don't want to do that.
Right.
And not because it was hard or like whatever the topic was like I hadn't been working on it, but just that was me. And I know there's other women out there that I'm sure are like that. So so those things, just stating those for me, that was my journey and that was me. But every time that I did put something out there, or I posted, or I shared, or even if it was just like I shared something like, I found this at the grocery store and I think it's great. Look at this, you can have ice cream and it's like 50 calories or whatever.
Yes.
Stuff like that. I mean, you got back so much, and only when, and you say these things, but only when you do it, do you really get back, I feel like, the dividends.
Yes.
When you engage in dialogue with other people, that is when you really, really feel like you're not alone. When you're engaging in that dialogue and other people are supporting you or giving you, help, or whatnot. And then when you're seeing other people talking about what they're going through or their journeys or their successes and everything. And we say that all the time, and we know that. Like, I could have verbalized that. I would have said that to you when we started. Oh yeah, I know that's important. But only when you've benefited from it, and when you're like, when you put yourself out there to say, well, I'm going through this, or I'm struggling with that, or I have this success, or this win. and then you get back so much. It really, you feel it, you really feel it, and it does motivate you, and you internalize it a lot more when you're doing those things, when you're posting your
Yes.
story. As you're doing that, you're internalizing it a lot more than if you did just keep it to yourself or just talk
Yes.
about it with between
Exactly.
us.
It's one thing to talk
So,
about it, but then to do it and actually challenge yourself to
mhm,
actually open up for the people who do have a hard time and struggle with that. I think
mhm,
it absolutely benefits you to, again, be lovingly challenged to do those things, have the homework, and actually follow through on it. That way, you're benefiting it from your journey.
mhm,
Having the relatability, having the ideas, having um, the celebration, because that is how we continue to do good things in our lives, and keep that state of mind where it needs to be in order for you to keep progressing. So I'm
mhm,
proud that you kept doing that, because it's not easy. It's not easy to want to
mm-mm,
share things, because if we're coming from a place where we're used to bottling things up or like sweeping it under the rug, that's why we're stuck. Like that's how we got to where we were in the first place. And I certainly have experienced that myself in many ways, and that's why I'm always like, look, this is the place. Like, this is the place where you
mhm,
can open up. This is the safe place where you can actively work on these things. Nobody's going to judge you. There's not going to be any cattiness. There's not going to be any like opinions. We're all here working on our own journeys, but at the
mhm,
same time, we're related to each other in so many ways where we can benefit off of one another, especially during right now with this COVID-19 stuff. It's like
mhm,
we're all going through it together in different aspects, different ways, because we all have different lifestyles. At the same
mhm,
time, we can come together and figure out how we can work through it in a positive way versus being a victim to it. So
mhm,
yeah, thanks for sharing that. And then I guess the last thing that, actually two last things. What does it mean
mhm.
to be a fox in your own words?
Ah, that's easy but hard for me to say because I immediately had an answer for you, and I'm going to say it just like this because I immediately had an answer for you, and then me being just who I said I was, I wanted to be like, no, I don't want to say that. This is what it means because this is what it means to me. It
Yes.
means that I do not at all second guess myself when I come walking out and my husband's sitting out here. That's really big for me because I was
Yeah.
in like a very low self-esteem place. So
Hmm.
for me right now, it means that I will walk out in my living room in short shorts and a tank top, and I will say things to my husband like, I look sexy. And I do, and
Yes,
I never did
I
that
love that.
before. Like
Yes,
I strut
own
myself right
it.
over to him sometimes, and I'm like, "Do you know what?" And he's like, "What?" And I'm like, "I
But
look sexy."
see, that's amazing to say. That's how
It
I want every
is.
woman to feel about herself. You should have that confidence, and it absolutely does make an impact on how our relationships are with people.
Mhm.
Um, so I'm proud of you for that. Own that. Own that. You're a fox. And I see you're wearing your necklace. I'm so glad you got that. It
I
looks so
love this.
good. It's
I
so
wear it
shiny.
every day. I take it off when I get in the shower,
Yes.
and that's it. And I put it back on because I really feel like that. If jewelry like this, it really I can look. I touch it all the time, and I think about like
Yeah.
what I've done. So yeah.
I'm glad. It's like a little reminder, like a memento, like a
Mhm.
trophy, and be like, I did this. Like, this mattered. I invested in this, and I put my time and my work and my faith in this, and I have the benefits from it now. I reap the reward. So,
Mhm.
so glad. And then what would be your piece of advice that you would give to somebody who was like you or is like you? And would you do this all again? What would be that?
Okay. So first of all, oh totally. Like I would totally do it again.
Totally. Yes.
Abs- well, yes. And then my piece of advice, it would have to be to so to be open to trying new things for sure, but to be a lot more specific with that, because I feel like that's kind of like that's something people can say to a lot of things and it's
Yeah.
sort of a cop out. So to be open to changing, not just, oh, be open to change, to be open to changing emotionally, mentally, and physically, and to be willing to trust you when you're like, let's try this and let's try that, to listen to you in terms of like saying, okay, we're making this change and we're going to do it for this long, and so no, it's not going to be an overnight thing. Like,
Mhm. Yeah, not at all.
it's not going to be what those people promise you on TV about pills or
Yes.
whatever,
Mhm.
because it is a long-term lifestyle change and
Mhm.
habits, and so those things take time. And yeah, I hope I don't sound too cliche or anything, but you just have to really trust you, and that
Mhm.
if you're saying let's try this or let's try that, and then give it time, and
Yes.
know that, here's what I'm trying to get at, know that most of this process, I feel like, I hope this is worthwhile to other women, is really about you learning about you,
Mhm.
because I didn't think that when I started this. So
Yeah.
I thought Tori's going to tell me what to do and I'm going to do it, because
Mhm.
I'm motivated. I'm going to do it.
Yes.
And then stuff is going to happen. Okay.
Mhm.
And that's true. But if you're not willing to learn about you so that you can give you, Tori, the information you need then to say, okay, well, let's try this or let's try that, it's
Mhm.
not going to work. And so there were times, I think one of the most challenging things I would say was like giving myself the time and effort to, when you would say like, well, I want you to think about this, or your homework is to do these things. I mean, a lot of times it was that I struggled with spending the time on myself in that way. Like,
Mhm.
oh, I need to do this or I need to do that.
Yes.
So in summary, this is a journey about you learning about you so that Tori can use that information to
Mhm.
help you. Um,
Yes.
and that's what I feel like.
I
That's
love
what I
that.
think.
I love that advice. Yeah, because there's a point in everybody's journey where we like start really internalizing things and then we
Mm-hmm.
can easily revert back into that old narrative that was in our head. When things get hard, when things get tough in your journey and you're like right at that peak where it's like the most pivotal time of your journey, I'm like, look, we got to stick through this. You got to have, obviously you got to have the trust in me as your coach and the trust in
Mm-hmm.
the process. And I've given you guys like we've talked about this on the group training tactics on how to actually trust the process, because everybody talks about you got to trust the process.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you do that, right? And so I'm glad that you were able to take that in those moments where it was that peak for you and you're like, okay, I'm going to set my fears and my once before beliefs of failing or whatever it was aside, and I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
follow what she says, and I'm going to keep learning about myself, because that's when that transformation happens. And when you speak up and when you talk about things and when you engage with the other ladies, that's beautiful. So thanks for sharing that. I think that's very important because a lot of people think it's a one and done thing.
Mm-hmm.
Or even you come through the Foxy Ladies Lifestyle Academy and like that's it, and then you go back to normal, and like that's not the case. You develop this new lifestyle with yourself,
Yes.
and this new self-image, this new self-worth, which is
Mm-hmm.
so huge for you going forward. So good job, Amber. I'm so glad that you're here to share your journey with us all, and I hope that this really speaks to some women right now who really need to hear it. So, anybody who felt inspired by this, please share it. Like, share it with somebody, share it on your wall, share it wherever. Because I think that positivity, like, everybody needs a positive push right now. Less negativity, just positivity, and knowing that it's possible, number one, to do everything from home, because you've been yourself at your farm just using things you've had, and then you've progressed and gotten some new weights and things like that, and you don't have
Mm-hmm.
to do it all at once. It's just about having the courage to step make that leap of faith and start doing things for yourself. That way you can have that true potential unleashed, just like Amber. So thanks, Amber. Thanks for sharing all of your journey
Thanks.
with us. Um,
Absolutely.
yes. So what's next for you? Tell us what's next.
So what's next is I have to figure out what I'm going to do for a job
Yes.
because and so I have to figure that out. And then of course too, navigating this new trucker wife lifestyle. Chad will be gone a lot. I'm very independent and I'm fine with being
Yes.
by myself a lot. But so just navigating that. I think I was just thinking today that is going to be a change for me, because I think, well, it would be easy when your partner isn't home very much to do things like, oh, I'm just gonna eat this because I
Yeah.
mean, like,
It's hard
and
when you're not cooking for two. Yeah.
yeah, and I was already thinking about that because he just left today, and I had a thought where I was like, I'm gonna do this like all week, something I was gonna eat. And then I was like, no, 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 not doing that.
I know better.
So
Like, let's start meal
yeah.
prepping.
So yeah. So I think that'll be a thing. It just already that was creeping into my brain. So I'm gonna have to stay on top of that. Like, just because he's not here all the time doesn't mean I can revert to not taking care of
Yeah.
myself.
Yes.
And I have plans to continue to be even more active. Like, I'm learning how to do carriage driving, and so I have plans to continue that and do bigger and better things. And I just look forward to, like, I don't put any limit on my step goals every day.
Good.
Like,
Like just let them
I
add
do.
up. Yeah.
I do.
Just
And
get the work done.
so yeah, I go, 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 and I enjoy that. So I would say that's what's next for me. So
Good. I'm so glad. And yeah, like recovery is huge. So I'm glad that you're able to like balance and structure that time better so you can have a minute in the evening time to just reflect. And
mhm.
evening, that's so important to kind of slow things down and then get that sleep. And you've always been super good about that. So yeah, I'm
Mhm.
confident like moving into this new phase, this new lifestyle, because that's huge. Like having the retirement and then going into a new job and then you figuring out a new job yourself too. Like that's um I feel like you're gonna handle the transition well because you take care of yourself. So that's the big
Yes.
self-care
Yes.
thing. All right, Amber. Well, you enjoy the rest of your Sunday and the
Thanks.
sunshine. It looks like it's sunny there, so enjoy
Oh,
as much as you can
girl,
get out right now.
you know how much I love the sun.
Yes, me too. And
So yeah.
yeah, thank you so much again for sharing your story. I think it's going to help people right now, so appreciate
Awesome.
it. Yes.
Yay.
All
All
right, well,
right.
keep doing you, and I'm proud of you. So you're a Foxy Lady for life.
Thanks, girl. Talk to you soon.
Talk soon. Bye.
Bye.